Hi everyone, it's Tess from teachwithtess.com, and what I'd like to talk to you today about is the parents' perspective and how they are considering the changes that the government are bringing in China to tutoring as a whole. Just as a quick brief update. So the video I made here breaks down the why and the what of these new regulations, but very rapidly what they're wanting to do is to ban profit-making companies from delivering core subject tutoring, and they're going to be banning weekend and holiday classes. They're going to be banning or stopping under preschool children from having any tutoring online. So the effect for us could be quite significant. Anyway, following that video that I uploaded, I had quite a few comments on YouTube and emails sent to me, and somebody asked about whether or not we could find our own clients in China, because one of the things that I will almost certainly be doing, amongst other things, because I like having fingers in various pies, to be honest, but one of the main things I'll be doing is developing my independent teaching business, which I did in the past and I'm going to sort of rekindle. And that person messaged me and said, do you think it's possible to have clients in China? And so I was trawling through the internet and doing some research on this, and I came across an interesting article published by Reuters. And so I'm just going to share what I've gleaned from this, and it's actually really interesting. So basically, what's been happening is that since these rules were announced, these regulations announced, there are a lot of parents who are scrambling around looking for private tutors to continue delivering lessons to their children, because they know that it's going to be taken away by the government. So that's really interesting. So there is a definite wish for this to carry on by the parents. And although it seems that the parents are very, they approve of the wish to reduce the impact on the kids, their children, from the amount of tutoring they're delivered, they're also saying that it's still essential to have tutoring because of the competitive nature of the Chinese education system. Interestingly, apparently parents actually think that it could have the opposite effect of what the government is aiming for, i.e. it will not increase the birth rate, because that's one of the main drivers behind these new regulations, to reduce the cost of education and pressure on parents. They think it could actually increase it and augment the inequality in the education system in China. And this will be because the private tutors cost more than the sort of platforms such as Wales, VIP Kid, etc. They are much more expensive than these platforms. So those who can afford to will carry on having tutoring given to their children. Now, I'm going to have a look at my screen because there's some interesting figures here. So apparently 75%, actually more than 75% of K-12 students have tutoring, and that was back in 2016. It's even more now. So that is a very high figure, and it gives you an idea of why it's such a big industry. The second really interesting figure is how much it costs to have a private tutor in China. So again, I'm going to look at my screen because I've got interesting information here. So what they're saying is private tutors in China can charge between 600 and 2,000 yen, which is equivalent of $93 to $310 an hour. Enormous. The other thing is, there are quotes from parents in this article, but there is one mother who says she spends more than 20,000 yen a month on maths and Chinese tutoring for her 7-year-old son per year. So if you do the maths, it gives you an idea of just how much money there is out there and how much money parents are prepared to pay. And I think, from what I've understood from this article, there are, with fewer after-school tutoring companies around, parents are running around trying to fill the gap with private tutors of their own, or they're setting up small tutoring groups so they can share the cost between a small number of children. So it's quite interesting. Parents are saying that this is actually going to completely reverse the effects of what the government wants, because it's there's going to be less funding to help. They're also worried about the quality of the Chinese education, and they say that the difference between the really excellent schools and the not so great schools is just going to increase, because a lot of parents who have their children in schools where there may be 60 to a class, they will not be able to afford or to give additional tuition to their children. So this is where this idea of inequality is coming from, and why they still think that it won't affect the cost of education. It could actually increase it because of the cost of private teachers and tutors. So that's a very interesting bit of information. And the general consensus from parents is that as long as the system remains as competitive as it does or is in China, this problem won't go away. So I'm saying all of that because to answer this email message that I received from somebody asking me, can or would there be an opportunity to tutor people and children in China even after all of this happens? Well, this clearly says yes. And clearly it also indicates that there is money there. However, I would imagine the challenge is obviously how you can find these children or clients. I've already had parents reach out to me about this, that where I currently work, and that's quite delicate because we're not allowed to share our information. So I'm sort of considering ways of putting myself out there. I haven't got the answer yet, and if I do, I'll let you know. But I think that yes, there is definitely opportunity to tutor children, because just because the rules are changing, it will not take away the need and the desire for these parents, or of these parents for these parents. It won't take away the desire of these parents to find great tutors to help their kids to get through what is an exceptionally competitive system. So there you go. Quick update. Very interesting, I found. And I hope that's of interest to you. So there you go. As always, please leave me messages down in the description box. There'll be more information for you. And I would love to hear from you. Leave comments, and of course subscribe to my channel if you find it helpful. And I'll be back again with more updates as soon as I have any. So there you go. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you soon. Bye.